Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in on the narcissistic trait and manipulation tactic of crazy-making behavior. Crazy-making behavior is a very elusive, insidious, and uncomfortable experience with a narcissistic individual who essentially is toying with your emotions, playing with a lot of inappropriate comments, and really engaging in what is called cognitive dissonance to create this crazy making and confusion in you. Particularly a cognitive dissonance which exists within a difference between their actions and what they say. So they might say one thing but act another way. And they might put on a mask, essentially. This is where the crazy making is created. They put on a mask of being a boyfriend, girlfriend, a spouse, a coworker, a boss, and, to be there for you and caring for you, and you're my one, and, we're the best together, and we're going to have this house and this vacation, and they're saying all these different things, but yet, it really ends up just being just talk. And when it comes right down to it and you're out and about, or you're making plans, their actions don't match their speech. So they really they're not giving you they're not supporting what they're saying. So they're not able to really back themselves up. They're extremely irresponsible because, again, their facade is meant to create a mask or a persona and experience a love bombing, in essence, of this person, so that they'll be strung along, but it gives them a way out. If they can just, constantly keep a facade up with people, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. And this is different. This is taken to a whole nother level and experience than just the typical player. I'm not talking about just, when someone is just fooling around and you're dating casually. It's not the same as casual dating. There's a manipulation tactic. There's a ploy going on. There's a pathology within the mind of this person which causes them to really hone in and focus in on taking advantage of others and creating a lot of chaos and discord, and really what is really a hyper arousal or a heightened state of ambiguity, insecurity in the people who they are involved with. So ambiguity meaning they're keeping you in a state of confusion. They might create a lot of paranoia in you, a lot of suspicion where none had existed. They might, tell you to pay attention to all sorts of different situations which are irrelevant, and get you to be distracted by them. Constantly getting your attention when you're focusing, and so they're able to derail you, and it creates a sort of fragmented thought process within your natural rhythm. So by this, they're able to utilize neuro-linguistic programming to get really into your subconscious mind, and what happens is they break you down through I want to say condescending terms, babyish terms, where they don't really give you respect. So how do they do this? How do they break down your boundaries? How do they break down your identity? By not calling you by your right name. If your name is Sylvia, they might call you Pooh Bear, Sweet Pea, Bunny. Not the typical darling type of things. Like, it's not in a natural sort of respectful manner, but they constantly call you by this nickname, and it's meant to really sort of regress you to this childlike feeling or childlike state. So and it's a very insidious and interesting thing, because they get you to break your guard down, your defenses down. So you're very much sort of hypnotized by this sort of sweet talk, the love bombing, where but the thing is, what's happening is it's a disrespect, and it's a disrespect while quote unquote pleasing you. So they get you to be, they disrespect you, and then they try to give you pleasure at the same time. So it might be, an insult, and then they're going on a date. It might be, fighting and try to triangulate you yet wanting you to pleasure you at the same time, and get you to think about other people while you're together. Fantasize about this guy while I'm doing this to you. I mean, it's a whole sort of concoction of stress hormones, and it creates a chemical imbalance in people that leads very much to crazy making. And as the relationship grows, and if it does become more secure, or you do end up getting married, the crazy making can be in the line of more like the passive aggressive, where they just are acting either irresponsible, and they don't follow through on your requests, and so you have to be more responsible to them. But it creates the same sort of crazy making behavior where there's the cognitive dissonance. They say they're going to get to something, but they don't. They just kind of tell you they're going to do something to get you, off their back, so to speak. But yet they use this again and again and again. So it creates a crazy making, and it creates that cognitive dissonance where they are in a position to be loving, supportive, and responsible, mutually responsible, but their actions are speaking otherwise. So, if you're involved in these situations, I really do, want to provide tools and support for people who are in that situation. So number one, I definitely recommend, realizing that the seat of responsibility is within you. You have control over your emotions. The manipulative person, the narcissist, the psychopath, they do not control you. Bottom line, end of story. And, if you've been in this sort of old rut, or getting stuck with them and being in that reactive state, realize that the narcissist and psychopath live for reaction. They live for that outside force, i.e. you, the person in their life, to give them the validation, support, admiration, attention. They suck that up. Rather than just coming from a genuine sort of self-generating person who just gets happy, who's just happy to do things just in and of itself, and they're not really like looking for awards, accomplishments, accolades. I mean, that might be a nicety, but they're not only driven by that, where you get the narcissist and psychopathic individuals who really do thrive for others' reactions. So, and of course, we're talking not just about the normal. Of course, everybody likes to have an award if they've worked hard at their work, things of that nature. But I'm talking about like above and beyond, where they constantly want the name, the title, the accolades, and they will create that crazy making behavior, and that cognitive dissonance to keep everything kind of chaotic, and then, steal ideas from people, and, not give credit where credit is due. So be very careful about that. And if you're involved with someone who's engaging in a lot of this crazy making behavior, and you've had enough, you're feeling really sort of disrupted, turned upside down, realize how important it is to realize that the seat of your emotional control is within you. So take time to separate yourself from them. Take a break. Take a break from them. Take a break from all the insidious, insults and confusion and, fog that they have created. That's a psychological term for just not being clear in your life, and not being at peace in your life, and not being happy, not being fulfilled, not knowing how to get what you want. It's that whole sort of disruptive environment that is created. So separate it and realize that you actually do have control over your emotional state, and work towards really getting more and more of those in play for yourself. There was a gentleman, Stuart Wilde, who was looking at, and he had studied, the experience of human will and how to really engage it. And I think I remember one of his seminars or his workshops where he was talking about how one of the practices was that I think he was at a Buddhist monk or a temple or something, and they were doing their meditating practice and focusing and detaching from all the mundane chaos of the world, all the crazy making of the world, the problems, issues that, had nothing to do really with their life. And that, and he would basically say, take 12 steps, to the east, and take 12 steps to the west. Take, 12 steps to the east, take 12 steps to the west. That would be their exercise. Very simple, yes, but it gives you an idea that the seat of the human will is as simple as giving your own self a command. So you have to learn to give yourself more emotional commands in the I am state and allow yourself to feel that and have a vision of that in your life. So the idea of a vision in your life, if this is a new concept, basically it's having an idea of, having an idea for what you want to accomplish, who you want to be, how you want to feel, what you want to become, where you want to go. So it's like having a goal, but it's having a true vision of your goal, having a vision of how you all want it to map out, and what you want it to look like. And realize that you have to tap into this goal very consistently as you're moving throughout the day. And then ask yourself, is this in alignment with my goal? Is this in alignment? Is this supportive of my goal? Is this supportive of my purpose or my objective? Is this getting me to my land of promise? Is this taking me there? And if the answer is no, then you need to realize that you need to sort it out and stop participating in relationships, activities, and thought patterns that are not in support of your ultimate goal and your vision for your life. So oftentimes this can involve, these crazy-making people who, you oftentimes participate or have relationships with them to keep you stifled and to keep you stuck. So there's actually a payoff, I would say. Meaning a payoff, meaning you're getting something out of being in this whole, crazy, chaotic, upside down relationship with this person, whether it be, you're avoiding your problems, you're acting out some sort of, childhood drama or trauma, you're, taking out your aggressions in an unhealthy way, or you're keeping, you have a fear of success, so you stay, in a relationship that is underneath you. I don't want to say underneath you, but not on your best or highest good. You have a fear of success, so you're maybe, participating in this as a self-sabotage sort of relationship, or, some people, they're bored and they don't, they engage in very chaotic relationships, but it usually ends up perpetuating and taking them back in their personal growth. So, keep in mind really the role and ask yourself, how does this relationship really serve me? What is it really doing for me? And what is it detracting? What is it taking me? What is it keeping me away from? And how can I then realign my vision for my life so it's more according to what I really want, who I really want to be, and the kind of people I really want to have in my life? And then now, what behaviors, what belief in myself do I have to go out there and get it? What sort of emotions do I need to cultivate now that are a little bit more upbeat and positive versus all this crazy making and cognitive dissonance sort of relationships and trying to become responsible for people who are not responsible for themselves, and definitely not responsible to you, especially, if they're manipulative. They have only one goal in mind, and that is taking care of themselves. Peace and harmony here today. Hope these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.